There's something nobody tells you about feeling lost. Nobody warns you that one day you'll wake up and not recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. That the life you're living will feel like it belongs to someone else. That you'll be surrounded by people but feel completely alone. And here's the worst part. You won't even know when it started happening. I need to tell you something that might change how you see everything. But first, I need you to understand that if you're watching this right now, if something made you click on this video, you're not here by accident. There's a reason you're feeling this way, and it's not what you think. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. When was the last time you felt like yourself? Not the version of you that shows up for work, not the person you pretend to be on social media, not the one who says "I'm fine" when someone asks how you're doing. I'm talking about the real you. The one who has dreams that feel too big to say out loud. The one who feels things deeply but has learned to hide it because the world tells you that's weakness. If you can't remember, you're not alone, and that's exactly why you feel broken. You see, somewhere along the way, we all make this silent agreement with the world. We start trading pieces of ourselves for acceptance. We dim our light so others feel comfortable. We silence our voice because we're afraid of being too much or not enough. We abandon our dreams because someone once told us they were unrealistic. And piece by piece, we become strangers to ourselves. And then one day you're sitting there feeling lost, wondering why everything feels so empty even though you're doing everything right. You've got the job, maybe the relationship, the friends, the routine. On paper, your life looks fine. But inside there's this ache, this constant feeling that something is missing, and you can't figure out what it is. Let me tell you what it is. It's you. You're what's missing. You've been so busy becoming what everyone else needed you to be that you forgot to be who you actually are. And the reason you feel broken isn't because something is wrong with you. It's because you're living a life that wasn't designed for your soul. You're trying to fit into a story that was written by other people's expectations, other people's fears, other people's definitions of success and happiness. Think about it. How many decisions have you made in the last year that were truly yours? How many times did you choose what you wanted versus what you thought you should want? How many times did you say yes when everything inside you was screaming no? How many dreams did you talk yourself out of before you even gave them a chance? This is what breaks us. Not the big dramatic moments, not the obvious tragedies. It's the slow, quiet betrayal of ourselves. It's every time we ignore our intuition. Every time we shrink to make others comfortable. Every time we choose safety over authenticity. Every time we let fear make our decisions. And here's what makes it even harder. Nobody talks about this. Everyone's walking around pretending they've got it all figured out, posting highlight reels of their life, acting like they never doubt themselves or feel lost. So when you feel this way, you think you're the only one. You think something is uniquely wrong with you. You start believing that everyone else got some manual for life that you never received. But that's a lie. Everyone feels lost sometimes. Everyone questions if they're on the right path. Everyone wakes up at 3 in the morning wondering if this is all there is. The difference is most people never do anything about it. They just accept the emptiness as normal. They convince themselves that this is just what being an adult feels like. But you're different. You're here watching this because some part of you refuses to accept that. Some part of you knows there has to be more. And you're right. There is. Here's what I need you to understand. Feeling lost isn't a sign that you've failed. It's a sign that you're waking up. It's your soul's way of telling you that you've strayed too far from who you really are and it's time to come home. To yourself. Being broken isn't the end of your story. It's actually the beginning. Because you can't rebuild yourself into who you're meant to be until you acknowledge that the person you've been trying to be isn't working. Those cracks you're so afraid of, the ones you've been trying to hide, those are where the light gets in. That's where the transformation starts. So what do you do when you feel this way? How do you find yourself when you don't even know where to start looking? First, you have to get brutally honest with yourself. I mean the kind of honest that makes you uncomfortable. Look at your life right now and ask yourself, what am I doing that doesn't feel like me? What am I tolerating that's killing me slowly? What am I pretending about? Where am I performing instead of living? Write it down if you have to. Every compromise you've made, every dream you've abandoned, every time you've chosen someone else's comfort over your own truth. Look at it. All of it. Because you can't change what you won't acknowledge. And I know this is hard. I know it's easier to stay numb, to stay distracted, to keep pretending everything is fine. But you didn't come this far to stay the same. You didn't survive everything you've survived to settle for a life that feels like it's slowly suffocating you. Second, you need to understand that finding yourself again isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about subtracting. It's about peeling away all the layers of who you thought you had to be and rediscovering who you actually are underneath. It's about unlearning the beliefs that were never yours to begin with. What did you love before the world told you what to love? What made you come alive before you learned to play it safe? What were you naturally drawn to before you started seeking everyone's approval? Go back there. That's where you'll find the breadcrumbs leading you home. And third, you have to give yourself permission to start over. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much time you think you've wasted. I don't care what anyone will think. You're allowed to change your mind about your life. You're allowed to choose differently. You're allowed to walk away from things that no longer serve you, even if they once did. You're allowed to be a different person than you were last year, last month, yesterday. Growth isn't linear. Healing isn't pretty. Finding yourself is messy and uncomfortable, and sometimes it means disappointing people who liked you better when you were lost. But here's what I really need you to hear. You are not too broken to be loved. You are not too lost to find your way. You are not too damaged to deserve happiness. You are not too far gone to start again. Everything you've been through, every mistake you've made, every time you've fallen apart, it was all preparing you for this moment. The moment you decide to stop abandoning yourself. The moment you decide that your peace matters more than their approval. The moment you choose to build a life that actually feels like yours. And yes, it's scary. Yes, people might not understand. Yes, you might lose some relationships that were only there because you were pretending. But you'll gain something far more valuable. You'll gain yourself back. The truth is, you were never actually lost. You just couldn't see yourself clearly because you were too busy being who everyone else needed you to be. But you're still in there. That person who knows what they want, who trusts themselves, who isn't afraid to take up space, who loves deeply and dreams boldly. That person is still in there, waiting for you to remember them. And being broken? That's not your identity. That's just your current state. Broken things can be put back together. And sometimes when you rebuild something, it becomes even stronger than it was before. Those cracks become part of your story. They prove that you survived. They prove that you're still here, still fighting, still hoping for something more. So if you're feeling lost right now, I want you to see it differently. You're not lost. You're in transition. You're not broken. You're breaking open. You're not falling apart. You're shedding versions of yourself that no longer fit so you can grow into who you're becoming. This feeling, as painful as it is, it's a gift. It's your wake-up call. It's life asking you, are you really going to spend your one precious life living for everyone else? Are you really going to get to the end and realize you never took the chance to be yourself? The answer is no, because you're here. You're listening. You're questioning. And that means you're already on your way back. So remember this, on the days when it feels like too much, when you want to give up, when you wonder if it's worth it, remember that the most courageous thing you can do is choose yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a survival way, in a this is the only life I get way. Remember that your feelings are valid, your struggles are real, and your desire for something more isn't foolish. It's human. It's beautiful. It's what you're here for. Remember that you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step, and then the next one. One honest choice at a time. One boundary at a time. One moment of choosing yourself at a time. You're going to find your way. Not back to who you were, because you're not meant to go backwards. Forward to who you're becoming. Someone stronger, wiser, more authentic. Someone who's been through the fire and chose to let it transform them instead of destroy them. This is your life, your one beautiful, messy, complicated, precious life. And it's not too late. It's never too late to come home to yourself. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button because it tells me this message needs to reach more people who are feeling the same way you are. Drop a comment below and tell me one thing you're choosing to do differently starting today. It doesn't have to be big. Just one thing. And subscribe if you want more real talk about relationships, self-discovery, and building a life that actually feels like yours. Because we're in this together, and your story isn't over yet. You're not lost. You're just finding your way. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be.